a family stand against bigotry. Our home wasn't just brick and mortar. It was a vow kept, a testament to 20 years of grinding through careers that often felt like climbing a greased pole. My wife, Laura, and I saved every dime, dreaming of a place where our kids could run free, where we could sip coffee on a porch at dawn. We wanted a 2-car garage, sure, but more than anything, we craved a backyard, a quarter-acre of grass where our children could chase their dreams without the weight of the world on their shoulders. We found it in a neighborhood called Crestview Estates, a place of pristine lawns and mailboxes fancier than my first car. The HOA handbook was thicker than a Bible, and we were the only black family on the block. We knew what that meant. We weren't blind to the tight smiles or lingering stares as we unloaded groceries. But we were ready to play the long game, to be the perfect neighbors until we were just neighbors. For 2 years, we did exactly that. Laura, a gifted architect, even designed the community's entrance garden, earning a curt nod in the newsletter. We paid our dues, waved politely, and built a sanctuary for our kids. Our son, Marcus, 10, is a ball of energy with a grin that could melt ice. He's obsessed with soccer, idolizing Christian Pulisic, and spends hours in the backyard weaving through cones I set up. Our daughter, Elise, 12, is the thinker, always 5 moves ahead. She plays defense, reading the field like a general. That backyard was their arena, their World Cup every Saturday. Their laughter, the thump of the ball, their cheer sit was the sound of our promise fulfilled, a childhood free from the burdens I carried growing up. I thought we built walls high enough to keep the world out. I was wrong. That Saturday morning was straight out of a painting. Sunlight spilled over the dew-kissed grass, and the air smelled of jasmine from the fence-lined bushes. I was in the kitchen, grinding coffee, watching Marcus and Elise in their blue and white jerseys. Elise was teaching Marcus a defensive stance, her face all business. He stumbled, and they collapsed in giggles. It was perfect, a moment you'd frame and hang on the wall. Then came the groan of the side gate, a heavy oak slab with an iron handle. I froze, coffee grinder in hand, and looked up. There she was, Margaret, our neighbor. Late 60s, ramrod straight, blonde hair shellacked into a helmet. She wore beige slacks and a blazer, looking like she was storming a boardroom, not a backyard. Trailing her was her grandson, Ethan, 13, with the same pale hair and a sneer that screamed entitlement. He slouched, arms crossed, as if the world owed him a throne. Margaret didn't knock or call out. She marched across our lawn, her loafers sinking into the turf, and stopped feet from my kids. Marcus, mid-dribble, froze. Elise stepped in front of him, her body a shield. Their laughter died. Margaret's finger jabbed the air, her voice a blade. "This isn't your yard today. Ethan needs to practice, and you're in his way." Elise, trembling but steady, said, "This is our backyard." Margaret scoffed, a sound like venom. "I don't care. People like you don't own places like this. Clear out, and let a real family use it." The words hit like a slap. "People like you." Marcus flinched, his eyes darting to his sister. Ethan smirked, a cruel twist of his lips. He was learning, absorbing his grandmother's poison. Elise, shoulders squared, turned and marched toward the house. She was coming for me. When Elise burst through the sliding door, her face was pale, but her eyes blazed. "Dad, the neighbor's in our yard. She's yelling at us to leave." I set the grinder down, a cold calm settling over meth kind I get before tearing apart a witness in court. Laura appeared, sensing trouble. "What's going on?" she asked. I nodded toward the yard. "I'll handle it." Through the glass, I saw Margaret, hands on hips, foot tapping. Ethan was juggling Marcus's soccer ball, as if it were a trophy. Marcus stood alone, a statue in his sanctuary. The sight burned. This was what we'd fought to prevent. I stepped onto the patio, my voice low but firm. "Is there a reason you're trespassing on my property and screaming at my children?" Margaret gasped, clutching her chest. "Trespassing? I'm on the HOA board. Your kids are hogging this space. Ethan has a tournament, and he needs to practice." I glanced at Ethan, still smirking, sizing me up like I was beneath him. Then another figure appeared, Margaret's husband, Harold, a red-faced man in a golf shirt, striding through the gate. "Let's calm down," he said, all fake reason. "It's a big yard. The boys can share." The boys. He'd erased Elise. To him, she didn't exist. "This isn't about sharing," I said, my voice hardening. "You entered my property without permission and harassed 2 minors. That's a crime." Margaret laughed, emboldened. "Call the police then. You people are so dramatic." I'm on the HOA board. I'll handle this my way. A thin smile crossed my lips. She thought she held the cards. She didn't know I owned the deck. You've already handled it, I said softly. More than you know. The air thickened. Harold stepped forward, chest puffed. Listen, we're your neighbors. My wife's a pillar of this community. Her sister's the HOA president. Think carefully before you make accusations. Her sister. It clicked. The nitpicky HOA notices recycling bins out too long. Our kid's soccer net, unapproved, weren't random. This was a campaign. I let Harold's threat hang, then dismantled it. I don't need to think carefully. I get paid to think about situations like this. I paused, letting it sink in. When you trespassed, you broke state law. When you screamed at my kids, that was verbal assault. And when you said, people like you don't own places like this, you made it a potential hate crime. Margaret's eyes flickered with panic. Harold's face hardened. You're twisting her words. She's not prejudiced. Is she? I raised an eyebrow. A jury might disagree. Or the Human Rights Commission. Or the State Bar, since I'm a civil rights attorney. I've spent 15 years suing people like you for doing exactly this. Silence. The word attorney hit like a bomb. Margaret's flush faded to chalk. Harold's bluster collapsed. Ethan stopped juggling the ball, his smirk gone. They'd stormed the wrong yard. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. See that dome under the eaves? The floodlight over the garage? The doorbell? Full ring camera system. Covers every inch of this property. And it records audio. I turned the screen toward them. The thumbnail showed Margaret, finger pointed, mouth open, my kids frozen. Her voice played. People like you don't own places like this. Clear as day. Margaret went white. Harold stared at the camera like it was a snake. Let's review the tape, I said, voice soft but lethal. I played it again. Her words echoed, undeniable. Ethan's face was horrified now, seeing his grandmother exposed. You have 10 seconds, I said, cold as stone. Take your grandson and get off my property. Never speak to my kids again. Or I'm calling the police, my friend at the security company, and filing a hate-based harassment complaint. Clock's ticking. They scrambled. Margaret yanked Ethan, who stumbled. Harold backed away, hands up. As he passed the gate, he hissed, You'll regret this. I smiled. No, you will. Inside, Laura held the kids, their small bodies trembling. We sat at the kitchen table, hot chocolate steaming. What did you do, Dad? Marcus asked. I reminded them of the rules, I said, and showed them we have rules to protect us, too. Elise, ever the strategist, frowned. Her sister's the HOA president. Will they get us in trouble? They'll try, I said, meeting Laura's furious gaze. And we'll be ready. That night, in the dim glow of a lamp, Laura and I planned. She sketched a flowchart, her architect's mind-mapping vulnerabilities. This isn't just Margaret, she said. It's her husband, her grandson, her sister. It's a system. We go for the root. Multi-pronged attack, I agreed. First, police report. I'm going in person with the video. Second, HOA. Certified letter to every board member with a YouTube link to the footage. Demand an emergency meeting. Third, the Human Rights Commission. Her people like you comment makes this a civil rights issue. And the school Ethan's tournament is school sanctioned. I'll send the video to the principal. Let them handle it. It was a plan to dismantle their power, to use their systems against them. Monday, I drafted the HOA letter, citing bylaws on harassment and conduct. I uploaded the video to a private YouTube link and emailed it to each board member. Within an hour, George, a retired accountant and board member, called, shaken. I'm so sorry. This is unacceptable. Then Margaret's sister, Ellen, the HOA president, made her move. She emailed the board, CCing me, accusing me of a vicious attack and claiming the video was edited. I replied all. The video's metadata is verifiable. I invite the board to hire an expert to confirm it's unedited. Her lie collapsed. George called an emergency meeting for Wednesday. At the meeting, Laura and I sat in the back. Ellen, at the head, tried to shut it down, but George connected his laptop to the clubhouse TV. Margaret's voice filled the room. People like you don't own places like this. A gasp rippled through the 20 homeowners present. A woman from down the street stood, trembling. That's disgusting. This isn't what we stand for. The tide turned. A motion to suspend Margaret and Ellen passed nearly unanimously. Their kingdom crumbled. Meanwhile, I'd met with a detective, showing him the video. He rewound Margaret's words twice. This is more than a dispute. The racial animus is clear. 2 days later, a police cruiser delivered a trespassing warning to Margaret's door. The neighborhood watched. I emailed Ethan's school, attaching the video. The principal called within a day. This behavior violates our athletic code. Ethan's suspended from the team for the season. The tournament that Margaret used to justify her invasion was gone. That Saturday, we hosted a youth soccer day. Families brought chairs, food, and drinks. Kids of every background ran across our yard, laughing. Marcus stole the ball, passed to Elise, who scored the winning goal. The kids hoisted her up, voting Marcus MVP. Through Margaret's blinds, I saw her silhouette, a ghost watching our triumph. A month later, a letter from the state civil rights office arrived. Our case, unnamed, had inspired a campaign. Home is where the heart is, promoting racial harmony. They wanted us as its face, a photo shoot in our backyard. The irony was rich. The grass where Margaret screamed we didn't belong would symbolize belonging. We said yes. Marcus and Elise, in their jerseys, shone for the cameras, their confidence radiant. But Margaret's family wasn't done. Subtle signs emerged. A sedan parked too long, wrong number hang-ups, Harold filming our house. Then, a Tuesday afternoon knock. 2 CPS workers stood on my porch. We've received an anonymous report about your children's welfare. My blood boiled. This was their revenge, twisting our campaign into emotional exploitation and alleging neglect. I invited them in, showing family photos, kids' artwork, and a stocked fridge. Laura, arriving home, answered with fierce grace. The kids' interviews were gut-wrenching. Marcus said, "I love soccer. Dad's my coach." Elise said, "I was scared when she yelled, but Dad protected us." The workers seemed satisfied but mentioned interviewing neighbors Ellen, Harold, and Ellen's brother-in-law, a lawyer. Across the street, a Mercedes sat. A suited man, Richard, greeted the workers with a slick smile. He was the mastermind. That night, Laura and I planned again. I called George, who sent an affidavit detailing Margaret's harassment. Neighbors from the soccer day provided statements praising our family. The school sent letters about the kids' stellar records. I researched Richard, a partner at a firm touting diversity. His firm's values clashed with his actions. I drafted a motion to unmask the CPS reporter, proving malice. Then I called Richard's managing partner, arranging a meeting. In their gleaming conference room, I played the video, presented affidavits, and laid out Richard's role. "This motion will reveal the reporter," I said. "How will it look when your diversity championing partner is tied to a racist harassment campaign?" Richard blustered, but his partner's fury silenced him. I demanded 3 things. Margaret confessed the false report, the firm fund a 5-year soccer scholarship program, and their family move out of the county. Defeated, Richard called Margaret, who admitted her lies on speakerphone. The CPS case died. The firm agreed to the scholarship, and Laura designed its logo. 2 months later, for sale signs appeared on Margaret's and Ellen's lawns. On a sunny morning, we sipped coffee as a Latino family moved into Margaret's house. Their kids ran onto the lawn, waving at Marcus and Elise, who waved back. Our sanctuary was secure, not just for us but for others. The campaign thrived, with our kids' faces on brochures. The neighborhood became a true community, free of Margaret's shadow. At a mandatory HOA seminar, I spoke on community and respect, showing a photo of Marcus and Elise in our yard, glowing. Margaret, Harold, and Ellen sat, trapped, as I said, "A home is built on respect. Teach your child the world is his, and don't be shocked when it proves otherwise." We'd won. The scholarship fund launched, the neighborhood thrived, and our kids stood taller, their fears replaced by pride. We'd faced a monster and made space for light. What do you think? Have you faced injustice or seen a community stand against it? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on confronting bigotry or navigating conflict. Take a stand. Tell us your view. Your voice matters.